Hello everybody, welcome to my latest back catalogue review. This one is on the aptly titled The Dwarves. How can I put this? This is in essence a very similar game to the likes of Baldur's Gate, the latest one of course. It is a semi-turn-based combat game. I say semi-turn-based, it's not really turn-based, this is more of an auto-battler. The type that you'd probably get in something like Dragon Age Origins. Now, by that, I should explain. When you enter into combat, which kind of happens when you enter a certain arena, your character will automatically do standard attacks. Now those standard attacks will be to anything in front of the character. You can then choose to select another character, or you can choose to select that character and perform special actions. This game also allows you to pause the combat and select actions for all of the people in your party. That being said, the sequence that you can see on screen at the moment is the very opening scene. And this is actually halfway through the battle. You've got two characters that are being controlled by you. This is the only time these characters will be playable, as far as I can tell. So this is more of a prologue stroke, get you into how combat works. Now, the on-screen prompts aren't very good. So while the game is paused, you can see this at the top of the screen, or could. It basically says press, and then it gives a button. But what it doesn't show you is the icon on the button, and the icon is square. So, as with all games on my channel, they're all based on the PlayStation console series. So, this is actually a PS4 game, so you can be playing it on either PS4 or PS5. But it is square that allows you to pause the game. Now once you pause the game, and I say game, I mean combat, you can then select your character, select what action you want it to perform, and then it will do that action when you unpause the combat. What it does also allow you to do is select the action for every single one in your party, so you can basically combine all of your attacks at once on the same enemy, which can be extremely useful. Now, the reason this is on the channel is because it is an RPG, and by RPG I mean really in-depth RPG. It has cutscenes, it has audio choices, so speech choices in effect, and you can decide to be rude to somebody, or you can decide to just carry on with the conversation. As you could see, I don't think it's very good to say to a lady, "You look awful, did you have a bad night?" Probably not the best thing to do, so I didn't choose that at any time it gave me the option. But this guy here, Tungdil, is the character that you play for, as far as I can tell, the rest of the game. And he's a blacksmith, not a warrior, so you can imagine how things are going to head off and start in this particular game. Combat is going to be difficult, and it is very difficult. It is one of those games where I'm playing on medium difficulty in all of this gameplay, and I honestly think I should be playing on the lowest difficulty. And don't be ashamed of playing on the lowest difficulty. People play games for different reasons. I play them to enjoy myself and to see the story. So I don't particularly want to spend 40 minutes trying to get through one battle that should take me 5. So if that's the case, and I do start really struggling, I do drop the difficulty, and I'm not ashamed to say so. If you want a really high challenge, again, that is perfectly up to you. But I want to actually see the end of the game and not get so frustrated I never play it again, which has happened with a few of them, because even the lowest difficulty is extremely difficult. That being said, moving back onto this game, as you can see, most of the travelling is going to be done on a world map, and it's almost like chess pieces that's moved around a board. Now what can happen is they can put you in some situations where you have to do certain tasks. Now this one on screen at the moment is an investigation task, and it's basically right at the start of the game, just after you've left your home, you come across some slain men at the side of the road, and you've got to try and investigate what's happened. Now, try as I may, I couldn't come up with a solid answer. All I could say was that these two people had been stabbed by an unknown weapon, and that was basically it. Just the fact that their rucksacks had been discarded and all of the stuff within the rucksacks had been left. That to me and the character indicate it wasn't for a robbery. So, yeah, that's it. That's all you know from this particular encounter. But what it does highlight is that it's not just about fighting. So if you want a very Larian Studios-esque game, this is probably going to be the one for you. The only thing I would say is, you don't get a choice who you play as. You literally play as Tungdil for the entire game from what I can tell. And that is because the story is his. You're trying to work out exactly what's going on, and he is the protagonist for that story. Now, if it changes halfway through, I don't know, because I've not got that far. I probably haven't played this game in 4 years, bearing in mind it came out in 2016, so it is a very old game at this point. It's 9 years old. So, as you can tell, it's definitely showing, well, it's showing itself well for how old it is. This doesn't look like a 9-year-old game, at least to me. Now, I should preface that by saying, visually, I'm still to this day very impressed with this game. Yes, you could say the Dwarves are very stylised in their art direction, and they are, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, especially when you consider in this area here, everything looks really nice. Even the leaves of the trees that are really close by don't look too bad. I can tell that they are just blobs rather than leaves, but they don't look too bad. They look like leaves that are out of focus. At least to me. Maybe I'm a little bit easygoing, but everything else on screen looks really nice, and there is a sharpness to everything which kind of gives the impression that it's very detailed but at far away distance, which is exactly as it should be. Now, I think I've spent enough time in this particular region, but it does give you some nice little options as you leave. You can either do some further investigating, you can do some burying of the bodies, or you can just leave. So I, of course, being the nice guy I am, decide to bury the bodies and then continue on. Now, being an RPG, you do get to level up your character, and at each level you get to select a certain skill. Now, that skill is a one-off choice. If you select one of them, it basically removes the option for the other. Now, you get one of these every other level, so do pick what you want and pick correctly. Now, at a certain point, you will start adding to your party. One of those points is your first solo contact with the orcs. The orcs being, I'm going to say, the main enemy of the game, but not quite, although I don't want to spoil it for you. As you're basically about to get murdered because you're a blacksmith, not a warrior, you get greeted by these guys. And I say these guys because in a second you're going to see another one. These are brothers, and they are, as you can probably tell, very dwarfy looking brothers. And warriors. Very nice long beards, nice armour, etc, etc. I remember when I first started playing this game, I wish I could change the look of my character so I had the same sort of look. Unfortunately, you can't, at least not at the beginning. You might be able to later on, I'm not sure. Now, I should probably focus on the combat. I said at the beginning that it's turn-based. It's not turn-based. It is very much an auto-battler. So, what I mean by my mistaken or my misinterpreted statement is you get to spend certain action points. It's almost like everything is turn-based, but it's happening all at the same time, if that makes any sense at all. But it probably doesn't. Basically, your character auto-attacks, but then you select which special ability, and each of those special abilities use a certain number of action points. Moving is completely free roam, so you can move your character wherever you want. As you can see, I'm moving Tungdil out of combat so he doesn't get killed. Interestingly, it's only Tungdil that matters in this particular fight, unless you go into a battle that says ensure X person survives. Now, you can see that one of the brothers has just been downed. He's basically unconscious, and he will remain that way until the end of the fight. I didn't find any way of reviving him. But overall, the combat does feel really nice, and if you're into this sort of action-based and turn-based and action point-based combat, I'm sure you will thoroughly enjoy it. Now, I keep mistakenly using the term turn-based. It really isn't. It's full action, it's live, you are moving your character whenever you want. The only thing that you can do that looks like it's turn-based is use your actions at specific points, but they do have to recharge. You have to make sure you've got the number of action points available. So, as with all of my back catalogue reviews, I suppose I should give it at least what do I think. I actually really do like this game. It's punishingly difficult, at least for somebody of my abilities. I've never been overly good at this type of game, but I think it does have enough here to keep most people entertained, at least for a long while. Combat is satisfying when you do kill an enemy, gaining experience, hopefully getting better equipment, and equipping talismans all seems to be something that will only get better as you progress through the game. And I think the story is such that you will have some quite nice interaction and some nice fun in the process and on the journey. That being said, it's not for everyone. I can see people who get frustrated with difficult combat with very large groups of enemies are probably going to struggle with this game. And those who don't like games like Baldur's Gate or Divinity Original Sin are probably also going to struggle. Overall, I will probably give this more time, but I will be reducing the difficulty. So hopefully you give it a go too. Now, I don't know whether this is still available in shops. As I said, it's a PS4 game. I don't know whether it's available on the PlayStation Store, but if it is, definitely consider getting it, especially if it is on a sale or something similar. Anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I really do appreciate it. Please make sure you click your like button, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and leave me a comment down below. And as always, you all take care, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Bye for now.